tenaciously and putting her whip-sharp observations to purpose in her activist and philanthropic work. Her article on Arctic drilling was published earlier this week, just a couple days ago, in Time magazine.
Yeah.
Please welcome to the stage the wonderfully talented Jane Fonda.
Hi, Vancouver! Yeah! Or should I say hello, unceded Salish territory? So I asked my new friend Tiger to come up here with me. We've been talking back in the tent, and I asked her why she's involved in this issue of global warming, and among the answers she gave me, I really like this one. She said, it makes me happy to be around people who are passionate about something. Yes! Yes. I'm going to Paris for the climate conference too, and I hope we're together there, Tiger.
Yeah.
I also wanted her to come up with me because I needed a grandchild fix. I've just been with my grandchildren in Montana looking for wolves, and my favorite ex-husband has 40 wolves on his ranch. And I won't see them again till tomorrow, so...
And when you were there, you were the only cougar.
So will you stay up here with me? So,
Love you, Jane.
this part of the coast
Down in front.
means a lot to me. I was first arrested, I am proud to say, not 20 years ago, as Jessica reported, but in 1970, marching with First Nations in Tacoma to reclaim Fort Lawton, and then again with the Salish Kootenai in Tacoma trying to protest clear cutting that was endangering the salmon spawning area. And I have fished for salmon in the Campbell River. So in my own way, I am aware of the unbelievable beauty of this pristine coast. And I stand here with you and with the unbelievably brave First Nations people who are trying to stop big oil from spoiling the coast. I've been an activist for 45 years, but to tell you the truth, it's been many decades since I've been to the barricades. And I am here now, I came here because I believe that the world is at an existential crossroads. We're facing a terrible, terrible challenge. People are having a hard time hearing me. There we go. I'm 77 and I thought I was getting too tired to go to the barricades. But that's a bunch of BS. This issue is too important. And it's a very simple issue. People versus oil. Life versus oil. Everywhere I go, I see the same thing. People at a crossroads. Down one road, the road that Shell wants us to take, we'll see more of the same, only worse. They want to tap into the world's largest untapped oil reserve, just for profit, unchecked, and they've been given permission by the U.S. government, if you can believe that.
I'll have to write Obama.
And what it means is that a very tiny group of people get richer and richer.
I'll have to write Obama.
And the vast majority get hotter and sicker. Richer and richer.
I'll have to
Hotter
write
and
Obama.
sicker.
Shut up.
Richer and richer. Hotter and sicker. But there's another road. And down that road we see something quite different. It's a world in which the future is honored. The children and the grandchildren and the precious animals. And there are clean jobs. And there is democracy.
talk to
oil.
Hillary.
Enbridge, Kinder Morgan, and all the other corporations masquerading as citizens.
Try to listen to her, not
We
you.
say we don't need you. We don't need you. Enough is enough. Enough profit. Enough plundering through extractivism. Enough is such a critical word right now, isn't it?
Yep.
It's a word that oil company executives don't know. These men who make hundreds of thousands of dollars a minute, they don't know what enough means. They assume that our natural resources are limitless and that they have a right to plunder them, even if it means leaving our communities riddled with cancer and birth defects and asthma. Even when it means killing off entire species. Even when it means killing us.
Yeah.
This is not just irresponsible. This is abuse of power and abuse of human rights.
Universal
And you don't
rights.
need a PhD to understand what's happening here. There are certain oil reserves in the world that must stay in the ground. If we are ever going to meet the climate warming 2 degrees Celsius limit that 99% of climate scientists agree, that is where we have to stop it. And this will never happen. It will never happen if we drill in the Arctic and expand the Alberta tar sands.
Yeah.
Talk about San Diego.
The principal reserve that has to stay in the ground is the Arctic. It's a major migrating corridor, as you know, polar bears, whales, walruses, fish, caribou, home to 4 million people. And do you know that the Arctic ice is the world's air conditioner? That ice bounces the sun's heat back into space. The Arctic helps protect us. We need to protect the Arctic. If Arctic oil is pumped and burned, the ice will melt faster, and as that ice melts, the climate heat is turned up, the glaciers melt, the seas rise, wiping out entire island nations and coastal communities. If that ice melts, the entire world is in much graver danger.
You have no idea.
And that's the danger we'll be in if everything goes right. If Shell doesn't spill oil. If there's a spill, an entire way of life will be destroyed. Species will be threatened with extinction. And there'll be no going back. The nearest deep water port is 1,000 miles away. Let's not fool ourselves about the probability of a spill. If it moves, it spills.
Yeah.
I'll learn that. The U.S. Department of Interior has said there is a 75% chance of a spill. 75% chance of a spill. That's not a chance. That's a probability.
That's a
Yeah.
The vast majority of people in Vancouver stand against extreme oil, against the risk of spills. And the spill you just had in English Bay would be nothing. It would pale in comparison to a spill that might happen to the super tankers whose traffic would be increased down your coast if the Arctic drilling happens, or if the pipelines are put in. If we travel down the road that Shell wants us to go, we will be abandoning not just our own principles, but the people of the world. We will be abandoning them. We will be admitting that we live in a post-democratic era where profit is more important than freedom and justice, more important than life. So, we asked Shell and Enbridge and Kinder Morgan, why not become part of the solution? Yeah. Right? You could be heroic. Instead of spending the billions you plan on spending to drill the Arctic and expand the tar sands, you could invest that money in renewable energy to create a sustainable world. And as was said at the very beginning by Chief Dan George's grandson, for every dollar invested in renewable energy, you create more jobs than in the extractive industries. And they're clean jobs, and they're jobs with dignity. Now, the oil companies and the politicians that they buy off and the right-wing media would have us believe that the alternatives aren't real, that they're not ready, that it's pie in the sky for some future time. All you have to look at is Netherlands, Norway, Austria, Germany. 25% of Germany's energy is alternative energy. Or in my country, Sacramento, California, Austin, Texas, Boulder, Colorado. It's happening in Alberta. First Nations in Alberta are starting to create solar jobs. It is here. It is very possible for us. Science is on our side. Economics is on our side. People are on our side. All we need is to mobilize our power. And that's why I'm here. Because I want to help get the word out and help us mobilize ourselves. Multiply our numbers. 30 years from now, I want my grandchildren to look back and say, Grandma was on the right side of history.
Yeah!
So thank you, Tiger, for the future. Thank you for the incredible bravery that you've shown here in Vancouver. Thank you for welcoming me.
Jane Fonda, everybody. One more time. That amazing woman.
That actually just happened.
You know, she read Naomi Klein's book.
I heard that was a good book.
Like you haven't read it 3 times. She read Naomi Klein's book, and it just changed her. I mean, she's obviously been a lifelong activist, but her focus is firmly on climate now. And Jane was talking a lot about the Arctic, and that's one of the major issues that we're here talking about today.